crawled on my knees, I could feel the disease in my soul. Despised the light, loathed my life, and I left my body and I just let go. Waved goodbye to grave. I was drifting away when I felt the embrace. Angels sang and they let me know that grace forgave and grace became. I was changed and it's my own way. I was saved by grace. Saved by grace. Saved by Sometimes this world makes me so sad. There are days when I lose my faith and see the way some people take, and I swear sometimes that my heart will break. And I pray for grace to find my way. And every time I see your face, well, I feel the weight and the love that runs between us lifts me up, and I am saved. Saved by grace. 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 Saved by grace.
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Thanks for coming today. back to the Sunday service of the People's Church of Divine Prophecy. Didn't have to read it today. Last week I had such a good vacation, I came back and had to read the name of the church. I'd like to ask you to silence your cell phones unless you're medical or law enforcement personnel. If you need the restrooms at any time during service, it's down the hall, quick right, quick left. Cold drinks in the fridge, hot drinks and snacks on the table. Just help yourself at any time. I'd like to have John light candles symbolizing unity of body mind. Chasing somebody.
Joe, you're right. I'm sorry.
Front and center.
I was trying to take the donuts.
Was you tasting them while you were doing
No,
that?
because I had
I'd like you to please stand for the first hymn, for the first for the invocation, and then we'll do the same hymn. Dear Father God, we give thanks for this moment here today. May we feel the peace and hope that is here for us. May we feel the love of all those around us as well as that from the Spirit. May we be moved and uplifted. May we put our attention here for the moment today. Let all worries of why we came, where we're going when we leave, and let's be here now for this gift from God to us. Amen. Amen. The next portion is the thought for the day from the pastor. I'd just like to start off by just thanking everybody for supporting the church. February is going to be our 4th year here, which is really amazing. And to every one of you that have come. I mean, I could stand here and have a service with nobody here, and it wouldn't mean anything. So it's up, and, I really want to appreciate how much I appreciate everybody taking time out of their day. The food they bring, the words they have when they come here is just absolutely wonderful. We took an empty room and turned it into this. Every one of us did this, and I just want to let you know how much I thank you for all of your support, whether you've been here one time or 100 times. It made a difference. As I was sitting thinking about what to speak about earlier in the week, we're coming up on Halloween, and I thought of a very funny thing that happened, and it also showed me something about human nature. And I've been forbid from doing this forevermore, what I did. I sat on the front porch of the house with a bowl of candy, and I had gloves on my hands and a big hood over my head. And I'm sitting there perfectly still, and the sign says, "Take one, leave some for the rest." And I've got my head down so they can't see my face, and I'm sitting perfectly still. They can't see any skin, so I look like a mannequin sitting there. And these kids will come up, and I'll see a hand come up there and do this, grab a handful of candy. And about the third time I saw that, I looked up, I said, "It says take one," and they took off down the front yard, out into the street, parents chasing me, trying to reel them back in. I'm not allowed to do that anymore. But it's human nature within us when we think about that kind of thing. It was like earlier in the week, we had cases of water in the refrigerator at work. And we as field people really need that in this hot temperature. And the guy that normally buys the cases of water was off, and we were down to our last 4 bottles. And there was about 6 people in the office, so I took one out and I said, "I better take a spare one." And I thought, and I said, "No, I better leave it for somebody else." And, that's what we do when we get into a spiritual state of mind, is we begin to think of others around us rather than just ourselves. When we think of just ourselves, that's our instincts. That's what we do as a human being. A spiritual person thinks about other people. And that's, what came to me was you have to help other people. That's part of what we're here for, is to help others. But within that, there is also, when we help people, we can't help them beyond our ability to help them. We can't get into the martyr mode and become to the point to where we're giving away what we don't have to give. I heard somebody do a talk in Cassidy one time, I don't remember who it was, but it was called The Virtue of Selfishness. And what it was that you are given a certain amount that it takes for you to live, and the surplus you have is for other people. You can't give away your last meal and starve yourself, because that's exactly what's going to happen. You have to use common sense when you approach giving to others. I remember in the Bible, it says that Jesus said, if you have 2 coats, give one of them away. He didn't say give both of them away and I'll give you another one. So you have to use a certain amount. The reason that we get into that excessive giving and we're dooming ourselves to failure, our human mind is a very tricky thing. And it'll say, oh, you want to be kind and give stuff away? Give it all away. Give it all away. And then you're sitting there going, what the heck's going on? I'm doing the right thing. Well, you may be, but you're doing it to an excess. And anything done to an excess is not a virtue. So you have to use a little bit of reason about it. So you strike this balance between excess and being spiritual. And it's a daily thing that we have to look at. There's no fast and hard rule. The variables change every day. The only thing that's constant is our spiritual belief, our spiritual philosophy that we can state. Anytime we're confused about something, state your spiritual philosophy, and it will give you the guidance. No matter how simple, no matter how ridiculous it seems, state that spiritual principle, walk that line, and that spiritual principle will bear you through. It's not going to immediately manifest that moment. Spiritual principles and philosophy deal with the eternity of your life, not the immediacies of your life. So when you receive something through spiritual visionary, spiritual request, it is within the perspective of your eternal life, not always the immediacy, what's right in your face. It's a permanent fix, not a short-term fix. So I just ask you to consider these things as you move through your days and the rest of the week. Thank you. The next portion of the service is the healing portion. To start the service today, we'll read the prayer for spiritual healing on the back of the hymnal. So let's say the prayer for spiritual healing. I ask the great unseen healing force to remove all obstructions from my mind and body and to restore me to perfect health. I ask this in all sincerity and honesty, and I will do my part. I ask this great unseen healing force to help both present and absent ones who are in need of help and to restore them to perfect health. I put my trust in the love and power of God.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's get ready for the meditation. Get into a comfortable position. Feet straight on the ground, palms up in your laps. Just sit relaxed. Close your eyes. Take in a few deep breaths. Inhale and exhale. With your exhale, let go. If there is any tension in your physical body, let go of the thoughts that are occupying your mind. If you have any worries, any concerns, just breathe it out. With your exhale, release and let go. bring your awareness to your breath. Engage with the rhythm of your breath. While you breathe in and breathe out, feel your breath taking you deeper within yourself. To a very peaceful and quiet presence within. Connect with this peaceful presence. And repeat to yourself quietly, I am at peace within and with my surroundings. I am at peace within and with my surroundings. While you breathe, feel the peaceful sensations flowing throughout your body, your mind, your spirit. Feel the calmness and the quietness of your spirit. Sustain this peacefulness of your consciousness and be still. Be still within. Feel your breath connecting gently with your heart chakra. Become aware of your heart chakra in the center of your chest. While you breathe in and out, feel your heart chakra expanding and contracting. Feel your heart chakra opening up to God's unconditional love and compassion that is within your heart. As you look to the core of your heart, Connect to the essence that is in the center of your heart. God is love, and love is your essence. Connect with this presence and feel God's unconditional love flowing through your heart, throughout your body. Nurturing your soul and spirit. Feel your heart. See it as a beautiful lotus with multiple petals opening up and multiplying. And feel God's loving energy flowing through the core of your heart. Feel the warmth and the gentleness of this beautiful, loving energy. Feel this energy embracing you from within and without. Feel this loving energy healing you, comforting you. Love is power. Use it. Heal yourself with love. It is with love that we are able to forgive. And through forgiveness, we are able to heal. Surrender to your sacred heart. Have a forgiving heart. Let go of emotions of fear, anger, resentment. Let go of pain, hurt. Let go of the situations, your past experiences that are interfering with your evolution. Let go. Forgive. Turn them over to God and let it transform to light. Focus on your heart and feel God's unconditional love in your heart that is bubbling and pouring out of your heart. Now think of someone that you may know you are in conflict with. Someone that you may wish to forgive. Someone who have caused you harm in the past. Focus on your heart and feel the healing power of God's love that is in your heart, that is capable of healing yourself and others. Direct this love energy to that individual. Send God's loving healing energy to those who have hurt you. See them receiving the energy straight to the heart. And feel the conflict being healed. As it heals, you feel a sensation of freedom. There is a situation that you would like to see it healed. Direct this healing energy to that situation. See it resolve, transform to a better condition. Surrender to the will of God. And let God be in charge. God knows your needs. God is aware of your needs. Just turn over to God. Have a loving approach to everything that you do. Let it be of your heart and the love that you have. As you give love, you receive love. Embrace this truth. As you come back slowly to your physical senses, become aware of this love energy that is around you. And share it with those who you are in contact with. Come back slowly to the here and now. When you're ready, you can open your eyes.
I'll end this worship service with a spiritual contemplation. We need to accept the difficulties and disciplines of life so as to fully share the common life with other people. Many things that we must accept in life are not to be taken so much as being necessary for us personally as we go through it, as to be experienced in order that we may help others by the experience of the sufferings and the problems of humanity. We need sympathy and understanding for those around us. We must share many of the experiences in life in order to be able to fully help and understand with others. Unless we have been through the same experience, we cannot understand other people or their makeup well enough to be of true help for them. One of the blessings this church has always had is a good musician. Lori is currently taking up that mantle. I greatly appreciate that. The next portion of the service is the inspirational lecture. Today's lecturer is Reverend Cassidy. Many of you know her. I've known her for quite a while. She's an independent, as they say, not affiliated with any organization or group, but is quite well qualified. Has done a lot of personal development as an ordained minister, as a spiritualist minister, clairvoyant, and intuitive medium. She also holds certifications in hands-on healing and as a light worker. She works very strongly with the spirit realm, the personalized spirit guides through there, as well as understanding karmic lessons and the soul's purpose. As I said, I've known her. I've always enjoyed hearing her speak, and I'm sure that you're going to enjoy the love and help that's brought forward here today. Please welcome Reverend Dawn Cassidy.
He's very wise to guide me in this. I could be spiritual or I could be technical, and I chose spiritual. Told you.
Yeah, the other one.
That's kind of like that joke, when he was giving out brains, he thought they said trains. Well, and you said, I'll have a slow one. Well, that is the same technical challenge that I have. I do strange things to technical aspects of life. I am affiliated with the IAM. I wanted to clarify that I am very strongly connected with the International Association of Metaphysics. And so that is my affiliation spiritually, besides with the Creator and all the gods. Good morning, everybody. I'm so glad that you could make it.
Good morning.
As I racked my brain and I was thinking of the inspirational talk that I would give today, I thought about different subjects, and then I thought about what do I experience as a full-time medium. What do I experience from my clients? What is the needs and what are the things that my clients bring forward, and I feel the different ways of needs for them. One of the biggest questions that I get spiritually is, how do I connect? How do I connect with Spirit? Teach me, Dawn, how I can best communicate with Spirit and connect with Spirit. Recently, and I know that we've all experienced some loss in our lives, in people that we love, and pets and animals and people that have crossed over in our lives, and people that we love, that we connect with, they cross over. And the one good thing to me, for me personally, when I have someone that has crossed over, the best thing for me is my spiritual beliefs. I heard Reverend Steve talk earlier about, coming back to those beliefs when we're faced with challenge, when we're faced with a passing or a challenge, when we're faced with that, falling back on our faith, or falling back on our faith and falling back on just our knowledge that we believe and our truth that we believe. So as I come in today to do my talk, also I am reminded when my husband passed in 2000, it was a hard challenge for us. We were very much in love, and I really didn't have a plan, past being married to him. And I just thought that was going to be forever, and that we, were going to do all these things that we had lined up. And God, had a different plan, as we often hear. But anyway, as he was leaving, and I could feel his soul. That's another. It's almost, I don't want to. It's a bittersweet thing that if you're an empath or you're intuitive, and you can feel the soul leaving the body. And I used to lay beside him, and I used to put my hands on him and send him healing energy. And I got clearly that it wasn't going to happen. And I don't know, 14 years later still brings emotion, because I don't know if it's worse not to know, or if it's better to know that there's nothing that you can do on the earth plane, because his path is different, that he's going to be making his transition. When he was making his transition to spirit, I was in the room, and I could feel his soul leaving his body, and they were, of course, working on him. I knew it wasn't going to happen. And I was leaning against the wall, and this angel, her name is Margot, and I'll never forget her as long as I live. Margot kept saying, Reverend Dawn, Reverend Dawn, Reverend Dawn, remember your spiritual beliefs. Remember how you believe. You may be leaving the earth plane. I was all alone. His family wasn't there yet. So she was just trying to keep me focused. As Reverend Steve said, sometimes it's difficult to stay focused through tragedy or through loss or through challenges. It's sometimes difficult, and sometimes we need our spiritual brothers and sisters and light workers and healers. We need to reach out and to ask them for help or lean on them, even though sometimes we don't feel that we're very independent. And I speak from a point of understanding on that. And we don't like to lean on others. We like to handle everything ourselves. And sometimes it's not for us to handle everything ourselves. I do a spiritual dance in the Smoky Mountains several times a year, and I leave and go on retreat to refresh and energize my spiritualness and connection with the Creator of all that is and my guides. And they have a beautiful theory, and they call it. If anybody wants to know about that spiritual dance in the Smoky Mountains, you can always see me after the end. It's a beautiful community, and you would love it. Anyway, one of the theories that they hold is sometimes you carry and sometimes you are carried. And I think that is so beautiful and simply put. Sometimes as human beings or as spiritual beings having a human experience, we carry one another. And as Steve also was saying earlier in his talk, his enlightenment, sometimes you have to experience something to help someone else. A lot of times I took Dr. Thomas's classes that he offers quite often, and for a long time I took his classes and still look forward to taking more. But anyway, as I would go there, I think, why do I need these classes? What is this teaching me? And sure enough, 1 or 2 or 3 days later, I would have that same situation and need that teaching to use in my spiritual work. I felt like I was gathering from Dr. Thomas, gathering from his knowledge and his wealth and his guides, and then I was able to give that out And that is why, even though we feel very intuitive or very spiritual, that sometimes we need to take and gather information from others and our fellow spiritual beings. A lot of people come to me and they say to me, even as far as yesterday, Reverend Dawn, how do you connect with spirit? How do you best connect with spirit? And in the Western system of education, we learn that the world is composed of living and non-living things. In our Western civilization, they embrace, well, this is categorized as living and this is categorized as non-living. But we don't learn, in my opinion, in biology we learn about living things, plants and animals and minerals, and we don't understand that everything has an energy. Even minerals, earth-based, rocks and fossils, they all have energy. Everything, in my humble opinion, everything has an energy. And we are connected to the universe, or this universe, by a connection of energy. And it's through electromagnetic field that we are able to connect with spirit. In other words, as a little girl in my Catholic background, and I survived 8 years of Catholic school, they never taught us about, in my opinion, they never taught us about spirit. Heaven, as we were taught, or I was taught personally, heaven is like somewhere out there it's like somewhere way above there that looks similar to what the concept of Garden of Eden. It's beautiful. I think as a child I was thinking that heaven was like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. In other words, oh my gosh, was there gumball trees? And, was there there's chocolate things, and that little girl that turned into a blueberry, she was my favorite. I want a blueberry and I want it now. Anyway, I thought heaven was kind of like, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory as a child, and, so we were taught that, the earth is comprised, in the Western belief, is comprised of living and non-living things. And even though when the soul does leave the body, in my humble opinion, spiritually, the soul leaves the body and goes up. And I've been very blessed to see this 2 times in my life. And has anyone else experienced such an experience? And you actually feel the energy either empathically or sense it intuitively. And sometimes you can physically see a mist of the soul leaving the body, correct? Does anybody have any questions? And to me, what I'm here to say in this speech, and I didn't have a talk, and then all of a sudden I woke up and I got this click, and I started writing, and I wrote 5 pages channeling. So anyway, so as the soul leaves the body, it's my belief that that soul is still living. It doesn't fall into a category of living or non-living things. It's still alive. It's just in a different form. And it kind of operates, I believe, on energy, electromagnetic current, just like a radio. And if you turn on a radio, how does that radio work? It connects with electromagnetic current, and if it's on the right station, and it's clicked on the right station, then you can hear the music. Okay? So is working with spirit. If you're on their wavelength, sometimes we get on their wavelength by meditation. That beautiful meditation that Ashkhen did was a very beautiful. Meditation is a strong connection to spirit. And persistence. You may not connect with spirit right off the rip. It's going to take some time for you possibly sometimes to really connect with spirit. I feel like also, you know, when we first start out on our spiritual walk, sometimes we burn candles and we burn incense. I still do sometimes. And, you know, we burn sage. And that's beautiful for us, whatever our ceremony is. But connecting with spirit to me is really, you know, just getting on their wavelength. Even though the soul has left the body of the animal, of the plant, of the mineral, of the stone, you see people walk up to Crystal Annie's or walk into a stone shop and they hold a stone. And they're holding a stone to what? To feel the energy of that stone. And there is what I consider to be a master in every stone, or an energy. And so when you're an empath, or when you're not, when you're really connected with stones or minerals, you can feel that energy pulsing. And the belief behind stones is a different concept. It is the energy of that stone surrounding you and cleansing and clearing out things in your aura. Anyway, that's a whole different direction. But anyway, as the soul leaves the body, you can connect. Spirit wants to connect with us. Our guides, our angels, our teachers, our masters, they want to connect with us. So I know that life is a very busy place for many of us, and it's even hard for us to sometimes figure out our schedules. But the first thing that I tell a client that says to me, you know, how can I best connect with spirit? And I would say, you know, take some quiet time, maybe 5 or 10 minutes in the morning before you talk to anyone. Get up a little earlier if you can. And before you do anything else, get a little pad and paper and just jot down, you know, anything that you get from sitting for about 10 minutes quietly. And do that, you know, as often as possible. And eventually, Spirit's going to get the idea, and you can also start with a prayer or a higher power belief or prayer, and say, you know, I'm here to connect with my guides. I'm here to connect with Spirit, and also loved ones that have crossed over. Ask them to come forward and ask them to be connected with you. And I want to talk to you about a couple of different experiences I've had recently. And people think that the one thing I love about being spiritual and being a spiritualist and being connected to Spirit is that no matter what, people think you're, you know, they think you're weird, but as you get to a certain age, you just don't, it doesn't,
We embrace it.
I always joke my clients, I said, you know, go somewhere quiet where they won't Baker Act you. Nobody can Baker Act you if you're in your house. And I say that quite often. So I always say that there's a fine line between schizo and psychic, or, you know, schizophrenia and psychic. But anyway, all joking aside, I feel that, you know, one of my clients said, you know, she just recently lost her brother, and he was at work and he just dropped, and he was gone. And she had no way to, you know, have any closure with that. And so she said to me, Dawn, she goes, I go to his house and I talk to him, is that crazy? And I said, no, you know, that's not crazy. That is not crazy. In fact, keep talking to him. You know, I said he will come forward, and just, you know, ask him for a tangible sign that he's around you. And so she said, okay, but she is from a Western belief system. She's, you know, all her life she's been told that that is wrong to connect with Spirit. That is, you know, not what you should do. And so I'm working towards guiding her to, you know, let her progress on her own spiritually to come to the place where she's comfortable in connecting with her brother that's crossed. And I told her, you know, when you're ready, I'm here. So, you know, basically sit quietly, do some meditation, ask that person to come through, especially when you're in the shower. They can't Baker Act you here. But when you're in the shower, it is a great electromagnetic current. It allows you, I feel, to be closest to spirit. Now in October, the veil is going to be lifted a little bit, and I feel that we're going to be very much closer to spirit. So our experience could be even greater then. And keep a notebook of any kind of phenomenon that you feel or anything that happens when you connect with spirit. And sometimes you have to, rule out common sense. You have to rule out, oh, the light's blinking. Oh man, that's Mom. Mom's on the other side and the light's blinking. Well, it could be the bulb, okay? Check the bulb and make sure you don't have a short. And then yes, it could absolutely be Mom. There's been so many people that aren't even spiritualists per se, that have come to me many times over the years recently and said, I've had this experience, I've had that experience. And, I just feel it's too much of a phenomenon to rule out that the life continues even after so-called death. As spiritualists, that's one of our creeds, that's one of the differences between ourselves and being Christian per se, is that we believe that the soul evolves even after the so-called death process. That the soul continues to live. It has an integrity, and it has a sense of humor. That the person still continues to exist. That their physical body is here. When I go to, I'm weird. When I go to a funeral or anything, I just touch the physical body just a little bit, and I go, oh, this feels like Gumby. You know what I'm serious. Do you understand? I mean, like spiritually, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to that person or the family, but what I'm saying is, I'm just kind of teaching myself that this spirit is not here anymore. That if you ever saw Gumby, it's a little character and you can manipulate it. It's made out of kind of a rubber. There you go. And so the physical body is left behind and the soul lifts out, and I feel through electromagnetic fields that spirit is all around us. Spirit is not in heaven, somewhere far away in the land of Willy Wonka, even though I would love that. So I was talking to a client yesterday, and I said, your grandmother is around you. And I feel that spirit comes to us in electromagnetic waves, that they're all around us, that they're not someplace far away. And I said, your nanny or your grandma is all around you. And she said, yeah. She goes, I have experienced waves of nanny. And so I thought that was very interesting. She said, like, sometimes you would feel her nanny just kind of wave into the room, and like she would smell her, like the clairsentience. We experience smell. Clairsentience is like a clear smell of someone. Clair meaning the French word of clear, and we experience spirit a lot of times through our senses. And so one of those senses is clear smell. That would be clairsentience. So she sometimes smells her grandmother's perfume, or like a powdery smell. Has anybody ever experienced that? Okay. And also we have clairgustance, which is clear taste, of course. And then we have, clear audience, which is clear hearing when they call our name or, let us know. How many people have experienced that? And just a clear, yes. So we experience spirit in many, many different ways. And the only limit is there is no limit in how we can experience spirit. I have to tell you that I participate in a celestial light ceremony where once a month I sit and I meditate, and I along with spirit and my guides bring light workers that have not crossed over into the light for whatever reason to the light. Okay? Pardon?
Ooh, wow.
So has anybody ever experienced that? Does anybody ever do that? Okay, so it's a long story, but anyway, I was connected with that with Henry, which is a shaman. He left the earth and left me to do this job. Thank you very much, Henry. And I love you too. And so anyway, basically, my daughter wanted to participate. My daughter Heather wanted to participate in our meditation that night with celestial light, and she was very skeptical. And I let her sit in with us. She was impressionable. She was about 19. And she wanted to sit in with us, and I said, okay. And all of a sudden she sat in, and we said the prayer, we called all souls, and did the surrounding and sealing of light, did all the preparations for it, and she got violently ill. Violently ill. And she said to me later, my point being, she said to me later, she said, I really didn't think it was anything. I thought it was just nothing. She goes, I thought your ceremony was nothing. She goes, I thought, honestly, Mom, she said, I thought you were like kidding or something. She goes, I felt that energy, and she felt that energy, and it overwhelmed her. And my point being is sometimes you think that ceremonies really aren't invoking, or they're just not really correct, or whatever you may envision, but that energy is very real. The energy of the soul is very real. A lot of times in digital photography these days, we are capturing orbs, which I believe are a great way for spirit to actually travel. I think orbs are all around us, and I feel that that is spirit's way of traveling. I like to refer back once again to a movie, The Great Land of Oz, where Glinda the Good Witch comes down, and she's in that beautiful orb, okay? And that's what I like to envision, is a beautiful orb of light. And so, to me, I feel that spirit energy travels in orbs. My concept of today's talk is that even though so-called death occurs to us with our loved ones, our friends, and our pets and animals, and unlimited people that we touch in our lives, that there is still that the soul continues to thrive and moves on to their next evolvation in spirit, whatever that is for their personal soul. And it is their own personal soul, is their own direction. There is no, I don't feel like there's two souls that are in the same direction. I feel like there are souls that are very similar to what they're learning, but I feel that they're not, everyone is on their own path and their own level. Also, I'd like to talk about channeling this talk. Like I said, when I started really, thinking about my talk and the concepts that I would bring, I didn't have a clue. And all of a sudden, wham! I sat down and I just started writing. And, I just so believe in spirit working with us. And that's just an example of what I want to share with you. If we ask spirit to work with us, and we ask and invoke our guides and angels and our teachers to be with us, then we can, do anything through spirit. And spirit is willing to work with us and channel. Thank you, Spirit, for this talk. Also, all this is done by faith. We see as we see things through our eyes, in our body. We see things through our eyes. So we also can see by our faith. In other words, faith is what is the energy behind our connection to spirit as well. In other words, a lot of people say the adage, oh, have faith, have faith. But faith is the energy that creates things for us in our lives. Even thoughts or things. If we think it and we have faith, we can create it in all areas of our lives. Thank you so much, everyone. I always enjoy coming. I always enjoy seeing everyone. And I always enjoy a good laugh.